Hello, Miss Billy. This is Brandon, of course you know. But I just had this visitation that I have to tell you about privately on this. I'm sitting here after it was over, and the Lord said, make a video, don't call her on the phone and just tell her. So this is what I saw. I saw Lucy. I saw Brother Halverson. I saw Jeannie Wilkerson. And I'll tell you what I saw. I was interceding, and all of a sudden in my video tonight, I was caught up in the spirit, and I got taken in I was hearing people sing with me. And I was singing, from glory to glory, he's changing me. And all of a sudden I heard other voices in my room singing this song with me as I was worshiping. And the glory, and Dinah could smell the fragrance of the Father. And Jesus, I'm here with you. And all of a sudden I could hear, from glory to glory, he's changing us. And it was beautiful singing. And I was like, I noticed that voice before. That's Lucy. That's Lucy, Lynn's sister. I said, honey, I said, that's Lucy. I hear her voice. And all of a sudden I was taken up, and I went through like this pillar of this shaft of a tunnel. It was like a tunnel. And all of a sudden I went through this tunnel, and there was purple and there's clouds. And it was beautiful. And I went through it, and I could see into heaven. And I said, Lord, what is this? And he said, this is the great cloud of witnesses, Brandon. They're praying with you tonight. Whew. And I could hear Sister Lucy interceding for America and for. I'll try to do this without crying. I could hear her singing, praying for her sister Lynn, and I could hear her interceding for Minnesota, and she was saying, Minnesota, Minnesota, and she was praying in tongues, in this heavenly tongue. It was glorious. And they were interceding in heaven for America, for a revival. And I could see Brother Halverson, and they were praying together. And I could see Jeannie Wilkerson and Rachel Tiffiteller. And there was two other people. I don't know who they were, but they were sitting on a patchwork quilt. And I could see this patchwork quilt. I can describe it to you. Lucy was sitting in a chair. Lucy was sitting in a rocking chair that was like an old, it was like a beautiful oak-looking rocking chair. It was all southern looking, and it was beautiful. And they were sitting on a grassy meadow with a beautiful oak tree. And this oak tree was gorgeous, and there was no darkness in it at all. None of the leaves had shadows. All of this oak tree was beautiful, shining bright, and I could see it as I was looking through this portal. And I could see Jeannie Wilkerson was sitting next to this lady that had a bun in her hair. She looked like she had a big Holy Ghost Pentecostal haircut, like her hair was pulled up, and it was like in a bun on top of a bun. And she looked like old Pentecostal woman, and they were all travailing for Minnesota. And I could see Brother Halverson, but they looked young looking, like young. They were not, of course they were in their glorified bodies, but the Lord said, Brandon, they're interceding for the revival. They're travailing for the revival. But as I could see, the Lord said, don't skip around. I got to tell you about the patchwork quilt. The patchwork quilt they were all pastel colors. I could see purple. I could see blue. I could see pink. I could see white on this quilt that Sister Wilkerson was sitting on with these other women. And like I said, Lucy was in the chair, and Brother Halverson was sitting next to Lucy. And I could see him. And I could see the quilt was on the ground, but there was flowers, these beautiful little daisies on top of the purple square looking quilt pattern. And each daisy was perfectly in a row, and all of them. And I could see yellow threads come up through where each square would be connected to each other. In those little squares were little yellow threads that were like bows. Beautiful little bows were inside of those little squares of all this patchwork quilt. And they were having intercession. And all of a sudden, I could see Minnesota, and then Lynn Hammond's church became on fire. And a great wave of the glory of God, the Lord said to me. Ooh. He said, I visited it once before. But what I'm about to do at Living Word, son, will dwarf what I've done before. For a great mighty harvest, a great move of my presence will visit in another generation. For I visited this generation, Lynn, and
a new wave for a new generation.
A new wave for a new generation is what the Father said. A new wave for a new generation. And I will visit Living Word one more time with this great move of my presence. And I saw a glorious fire all over Living Word Church there in Minnesota. And I heard Brother Halverson was praying, Minnesota, and he was travailing, Minnesota, and he was calling forth revival, Minnesota, and he was travailing over this as I was hearing it echo as Lucian was rocking in this chair, and they were both praying back and forth with each other, and I heard it, but this was what was amazing, as it was being travailed in heaven. Their prayers went through that portal and it hit me in the chest. And it caused the prayer to come through me. And I started groaning the prayer out in the spirit realm that was happening in heaven. It came through the portal and hit me and hit my stomach. And it started to come through travail through me. And the Lord said, pray it out. They're helping you. Pray it out. They're helping you. There's a great revival coming to Branson. There's a great revival coming to Collinsville. You must help them. Pray. And it's somebody kiss. I'm Kasara. Go but yes, he said, heaven and Okamus Niki Paradise Sekeda Vokusnova. Hedema Asakedama Opasada. Ooh, Makama Esekedema Esekodama Asaterema Kusato. I can no say I'm gonna make it say. I'm trying to get all of it. Esekiel Masa Opasahadama Esekeda and Esete. Whoo, Makesakoma Asne. I could feel the glory when I started talking about it again. I could see it, baby. Asatosha. Asatosha. When it goes, no. No, but in the isate. Okay. Heaven and earth are going to collide. The Lord said, heaven and earth are going to collide. And he said, in one moment, in everything that I've ever desired, the greatest harvest of souls, Brendan, everything's going to change in a 24-hour period. Watch September, watch these months ahead. For the birthing pains and the labor pains will increase upon the earth. But my glorious church, Brendan, will rise with a great fire, without spot or without wrinkle, what we've all believing for. But it will be the greatest outpouring of the Spirit of the Lord. And I saw Minnesota, and I never seen Minnesota. But the Lord said, Brandon, Minnesota. Watch what I do in Minnesota. And I saw a revival come in Minnesota, and I saw a revival coming in Branson. I saw a revival coming to Eagle Mountain Church. I saw a revival coming in Collinsville, Oklahoma. And he said, Brandon, there's going to be hot spots throughout the world, around America. But he said, watch what I'm about to do. There'll be hot spots. And I went and I was taken to ORU, and I saw the Maybe Center, and it was completely engulfed with the glory of God, and it was a flame of fire. It looked like a teardrop. It was fire, and the fire of God. And he said, Brendan, and then he said, I'm going to shake all the temples in India. I will shake the temples down, the false gods, and I'm going to break them down, and there's going to be major earthquake. And I saw a major revival and flood. He said, I'm shaking it, Brendan, and I'm going to visit India. I'm going to visit China. And I saw a great revival coming, and like we've never seen before in these areas. And so it all came out of the prayer as Lucy was and them were interceding for a revival for America. For heaven and earth are going to be invaded together. They're coming as one. And I said, oh, Jesus, what a time to be living in. What a time to be living in these last days, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm not talking to my crowd. What a time to be living in. Jesus is coming. And so that's what I had for you. But it was so beautiful the way the quilt looked. I wanted to sit.
You got to tell Miss Lynn too. That would probably bless her.
Maybe you tell Lynn. Maybe you tell Lynn. I just wanted to tell you, Miss Billy, because you're my friend. But I thought this is something that's so precious that I couldn't keep it to myself. I had to tell people what they're praying for us over there. Our loved ones that have went home before us, and I don't even know Lucy. I don't even know these people, but they're praying for us, and they're interceding for Minnesota, and they're interceding for us. The great cloud of witnesses. Jesus is coming. And it's something that I'll never forget the rest of my life. What Jesus just showed me, and it's so beautiful. Our Jeannie Wilkerson looked so nice. She looked so young. In every vision, in this vision, I saw her skin was so young, and all the things I've seen her, she looked so old, but she was so young and so her fresh. I knew exactly who she was. And Rachel Tifa Tiller, and these greats that have gone before us. God bless you. I just wanted to tell you about it. Thank you. Bye-bye.